Is he breathing? Barely. Christ. Look at this. Somebody carved him open like meat on a cutting board. The headlamp beam swept across the man's chest. His skin was dark with grime, blood, and something else. Sticky. Unnatural. A torn piece of t-shirt clung to his torso. The incision was clean but crude, stitched with thick blue thread. Fresh. Nearby. An empty syringe, a bottle of off-brand rubbing alcohol, a snapped razor blade. Are you kidding me? That's a surgical line. Right under the ribs. Kidney, maybe. Jesus. The paramedic pressed 2 fingers to the man's neck. Pulse, faint and erratic. The man wheezed. His chest rose in fits and starts. Sir? Can you hear me? Sir? Say something. The eyes flickered open. Clouded. Pupils blown. Lips trembling. A rasp of breath. I signed it. What did you sign? Who did this to you? Where were you? Money. For him. Don't tell him. Stay with me. The second paramedic barked. Viens. We're losing him. The ambulance jolted into motion, red light strobing, siren wailing, hands on his chest, belt straps cutting into worn clothes. The man's eyes fluttered open again, turned toward the window. Just foggy city lights. He whispered, Tommy. We don't have anyone by that name, the nurse said flatly, scrolling the screen. Are you sure he came here? I brought him in. Myself, the paramedic snapped. Last night. Knife wound, surgical scar. We gave him a temp ID. There's no ID, no file, no ER record, no intake. He's not here. People don't just disappear, not with that kind of trauma. At this hospital? They do. If they don't have insurance, family, a name, they vanish. He gave us a name. Leon Mason, Iraq vet. I heard it. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. Describe the scar, Jen Harper said. Recorder already running. Straight cut, under the ribs, stitched like a rookie did it. Thick thread, uneven pressure. Looked military. He kept saying it was for his son. Money for him. Don't tell. That kind of thing. He said his name. Leon Mason. And the son, Tommy. We checked VA records. There's a Leon Mason. Marine. Lived in D.C. Then, nothing. Vanished from the hospital. No documentation. No cameras. No staff who remember him. But he was there. He was, I swear. Under the overpass, it stank of mold, piss, and gasoline. Cold wind swept through garbage piles. Jen lit the scene with her phone. Dried blood on the concrete. Gauze wrappers. The bent remains of a cigarette pack. This is where they found him? Yeah, said the shelter volunteer. Around midnight. One of ours called it in. We thought he was dead, but he made it, sort of. Had he been here before? Lots. Slept by the wall. Quiet guy. Helped in the kitchen sometimes. Never asked for money. Always talked about his boy. Said he had to fix things, get it right for him. When did he start acting strange? Few months. Back. He'd vanish for days, come back woozy. Bandaged. Chest. Arms. Said it was medical trials. Did he name a hospital? No. Just said, one more round, then everything's okay. Jen stared at the bloodstain. It had congealed into a cracked, rust-colored map. I'm going to find him, she said. Or the bastards who used him. The volunteer just looked away. Clinical trial program? Jen flipped through the file. You're sure? Positive, said the young outreach worker. Unofficial studies. They target homeless vets. Offer quick cash for testing, blood work, cognitive response, sometimes. Minor surgeries. It's not VA run, but they know. Legal? On paper. As long as the subject signs off, they're covered. Never mind that most of these guys are high, sick, or desperate. Could Leon have agreed? If he thought it'd help his son, no question. Jen scanned one consent form. Scrawled signature at the bottom. Slanted, shaky, maybe drugged, maybe terrified. Where do I start? Try South Fulton Clinic. They come up a lot. Thank you. Careful. This story gets people hurt. Or disappeared. Night. Jen sat in her car, laptop on the passenger seat. In her hand, a photo. Leon in uniform. Younger, smiling. A toddler on his shoulders, Tommy. On the back, a note. Before Baghdad. 2006, she typed, South Fulton Clinic, Baltimore. Hit enter. First link, closed in 2021. Second, investigation into unlicensed procedures. Third, message board thread. My dad went there. After tests, he couldn't walk, dead in a month. VA did. Nothing. Courts threw it out. All legal, on paper. Jen stared at the screen. Her jaw clenched. She started writing. New document. Title, Case 119. How the System Sells Its Broken Soldiers. Unknown number. She picked up. You looking into South Fulton? The voice was gravel and rust. Who is this? You don't want to be asking questions there. I'm a journalist. You threatening? Me? I'm saving your life. Last girl who asked questions bled out behind a Dollar Tree. Click. She stared at the phone, then at the photo. I'm not backing off. Her hands shook, but she opened the car door. The door to the South Fulton Clinic screeched open like it hadn't been touched in years. Jen stepped inside. The air smelled like bleach over rot. Paint peeled from the walls. A single flickering light, above reception, cast a trembling shadow on the floor. Dust blanketed every surface. A sign behind the counter read, in faded letters, Restoring Hope Through Science. She pulled her phone and hit record. Harper. South Fulton Clinic, abandoned since 2021. Possible site of illegal medical trials targeting homeless veterans. A door creaked inside. She froze. Footsteps. Then a voice. You shouldn't be here. A man stepped out of the shadows. Late 40s. Denim. Jacket. Hands in pockets. Clinic's closed. So I've heard, Jen said. You used to work here? He didn't answer. I'm looking for someone. Leon Mason. He was brought here. A vet. Silence. Then, lot of vets came through. Lot didn't leave. Jen took a step forward. What did they do to them? The man sighed, looking past her like he saw ghosts. Took what they needed, promised contributions to science, gave him $200 and some juice boxes. That's it? And Mason? He shook his head. He came back too many times. Needed money. Said it was for his kid. They like that. They like people who won't say no. Jen narrowed her eyes. Where is he now? The man swallowed. Gone. Dead. Maybe worse. A crash behind them. Jen spun. 2 men, one with a bat, the other. With a taser came from the hallway. You brought her here, the one with the bat growled. You stupid! Run, the man in the jacket said. Jen didn't hesitate. She bolted back through the front door, heart in her throat. A hand grabbed her hair, yanked her down. She hit the pavement hard. The taser buzzed, missed. She kicked out, boot, smashing into someone's shin. He yelped. The jacketed man tackled one of them, fists flying. Jen scrambled up, sprinted to her car. Keys. Where were the keys? Her purse. Her jacket. She dove inside, locked the door, hit ignition. The engine coughed. Once. Twice. Started. A face slammed against her window. You're dead, bitch, he screamed. She hit the gas. Tires screamed. She didn't stop until she was 6 blocks away. She sat in a gas station bathroom, shaking, blood on her palm, bruise forming on her cheek. She looked at herself in the mirror. The fear, the fury. She whispered, You're not backing down. Her phone buzzed. Blocked number. She answered. You're making a mistake, said a voice, calm, cold. There's no story. Here. Just a dead man who sold himself. Who are you? Someone who buried what's left of Mason. Let him stay buried. Click. She dropped the phone. Her hands were still shaking, but her voice wasn't. She looked into the mirror one last time and said, "Not this time." She walked out, into the dark, toward the next name on her list, and the man who ran the trials. The warehouse was buried at the edge of the port, wrapped in chain link and rust, forgotten by the city like everything else Jen was chasing. She crouched, behind a shipping crate, breath fogging in the cold, eyes fixed on the only lit window. The name she'd traced here, Dr. Randall Meyer, former surgeon. Suspended license. Brief contract with South Fulton, terminated in 2020. Last known activity? A side business registered under a shell company. Urban Therapeutics. Same address. She waited. The light inside flickered. A shadow moved. Then, shouting. Man's voice angry. "You said he was stable. You said—" Crash. Glass. Jen crept closer, pulled out her phone, started recording. She slid around the corner, up a small ramp, and peered through a crack in the door. Inside, under harsh white lights, two men were arguing over a gurney. On it, unmoving, another man. Shaved head, IV in his arm, blank stare. One of the men slammed his hand against the table. "He's seizing, you idiot! You didn't balance the sedatives!" He was conscious when I brought him in. He signed the paper. Jen pressed closer. The unconscious. Man's wrist had a faded tattoo, a Marine emblem. Not Leon, but another vet. She took a breath. Then stepped inside. "Don't move." 2 guns. Instantly aimed at her. Jesus Christ. "She's got a phone." "Drop it," said the one in the lab coat. She did, slowly. "You're Meyer," Jen said. "I know who you are. I have your records. I have testimony." "Then you know you're making a mistake. I know you're experimenting on veterans, taking their organs, leaving them in alleys." Meyer smirked. "You think this is new? You think I invented this? Where's Leon Mason?" He hesitated. The second man, the thug, looked nervous. "Don't, Randy. Don't tell her." "He was a volunteer," Meyer said. "Desperate. Kept coming back. Told us to take what we needed, as long as we wired the money to his son." "What did you take?" "Kidney. Then part of his liver. Then we tested the NeuroSuite. Electrical stimulation trials." Jen's stomach turned. "You destroyed him. He was already broken. We gave him purpose. A legacy. That boy of his, he's in college now, debt-free. Where is he now?" Meyer looked at her, then said, "Gone. Dead. Escaped. During a transport. He still thinks he can fix this." "Fix what?" "His soul." Suddenly the lights blew out. Total darkness. A scuffle. Gunshots. Jen hit the ground, rolled under the gurney. More shouting. A scream. Someone ran. Heavy boots. Then, silence. When she dared to move, she saw Meyer, face down, blood pooling under his head. The other man was gone. The gurney was empty. The vet, missing. She grabbed her phone. The screen was cracked but still recording. She limped outside, heart pounding. A man waited in the shadows, face hidden, but tall, heavy coat. "You're Jen Harper?" "Who's asking?" He stepped forward, a familiar scar above the eyebrow. His voice was dry gravel. "You're looking for Leon Mason?" She nodded. He opened his coat, pulled out a folded paper. "This is from him." She unfolded it. One line, "Tell Tommy the debt's paid, but don't tell him how." She looked up, but the man was gone, just the wind. And the truth. Closing in. Ann couldn't sleep. The motel bed creaked with every breath, and the folded paper from Leon burned in her hand like a confession. She read it again. "Tell Tommy the debt's paid, but don't tell him how." She knew what. It meant now, he sold himself, piece by piece. By sunrise, she was already on the road, heading south. Word was, Leon had been seen in El Paso. A shelter director owed her a favor. The drive was quiet, just the hum of tires and her own voice running edits for the story. But she didn't press record. She wasn't ready. El Paso, dry air, border haze. and a face at the soup line that froze her, scar above the brow. Same boots, same coat. Leon? He turned, slowly, and looked through her, then walked. Leon? She chased him down an alley. He stopped beside a dumpster. You shouldn't be here, he said without turning. You sent the note. You know why I'm here. I warned you. I warned everyone. You don't get to disappear. Not after what they did. He turned then. His face was ruined. Deep lines. Eyes yellowed. Skin gray. They didn't do it. I did. I signed every line. I nodded when they brought the scalpel. I said yes, over and over. Jen stepped closer. Because of your son. He laughed, dry and broken, because I was done, because he still had a chance. You ever held your kid while the repo men take his bed? Silence. They promised me 10 grand. I thought it'd be one surgery. I thought I could take it, but they came back. Said my liver regenerated fast. Said my nerve map was perfect. They made me feel like I was worth something again. Jen swallowed hard. They used you. No, I used them. He pointed to a faded envelope sticking from his jacket. Last payment. It clears everything. His name's clean. And what about you? Me? I'm already dead, just waiting to fall. Footsteps. 2 men at the alley entrance. Not cops, not locals. Smooth jackets. Clean shoes. Leon saw them too. You need to go. Now. I'm not leaving you. Yes, you are. He shoved the envelope into her hand. Give that to Tommy. Tell him his father was a coward, a bastard, a man who sold everything but his love. The men walked faster. Leon turned and ran. Jen ran the other way. She didn't look back, not even when she heard the gunshot. The envelope had 1 check, dated 2 days ago, signed by a dummy LLC tied to South Fulton. She mailed it to Tommy. No note, just a post-it, for your education. Your father's last gift. She never published the story. Some truths aren't headlines. Some stay in alleys. Bleeding. They dumped his body in a ravine outside Santa Teresa. Face down, wallet stripped, fingertips burnt. But the scars were still there. Jen stood at the edge of the crime scene. A local cop let her in. He recognized the name. Veteran, right? Another ghost. She didn't answer. Her hands trembled as she held the coroner's photo. Jaw broken, bruised ribs, ligature marks around the ankles. They didn't just kill Leon. They made it hurt. You want ID confirmation? The officer asked. No, she said. I've seen enough. She walked back to her car and screamed. Not into the air, not at the killers, at herself. Because she let him go. Because she ran. She drove 12 hours straight. No music, no food, just the wheel and the voice in her head. Don't tell him how. Too late. Tommy had called her. Where did that money come from? A donor. Anonymous. You're lying. Your dad, what happened to him? She didn't answer. He hung up. The funeral was empty. Jen paid for it. 1 flag, 1 name on a stone. Leonard Mason, USMC. Tommy didn't come, but the story did. It spread in whispers. Among shelters, VA centers, people started naming names. South Fulton, Urban Therapeutics, a new clinic in Tucson popped up. Same methods, different faces, then bodies. 3 vets, all missing parts. The system still breathed. Jen broke into the Tucson lab. It wasn't rage, it was precision. She found the files, every name, every photo. Mason's file had a red stamp, compliant, repeat donor, family motivated. She copied it all, then set the room on fire. She didn't run. The cops arrested her, charged her with arson, trespassing, theft. She represented herself. In court, she showed every photo, every scar, every death certificate. And then she played the last thing Leon ever recorded, a voicemail. Left 2 hours before he died. Tell my son. I tried. I really tried. I was never brave, not like they wanted, but I made sure he'd never have to bleed for a flag, not like me. The courtroom went silent. The judge dismissed the charges. Public pressure. A senator made a speech. VA launched an investigation, but nothing stopped, because the machine doesn't break. It adapts. Tommy finally called. I read your article. It wasn't an article. Then what was it? A funeral. He was quiet for a long time. Then, you think he's proud of me? Jen didn't answer. Right away. He didn't die for pride, he died for peace. Yours. Click. Years later, Jen still gets the nightmares. Blood in alleys, scars stitched wrong, voices whispering, "Don't tell him," over and over. She lives alone, writes sometimes, doesn't publish. But once a year, she visits the grave. Leaves a photo, the last one of Leon smiling, and underneath it, a note, "You are worth more." The envelope came 5 years later, no return address. No message, just a flash drive. Jen sat frozen as it loaded. Video, security footage. Timestamp, 2 hours after Leon's confirmed death, the body on the gurney moved. Eyes opened. He gasped, then men in masks rushed in, injected something, wheeled. Him away. He was alive. She hit pause, footage cut to black. One final frame. A document, case 119, status, transferred, host viable, memory suppression successful. She whispered, "Oh my God." Leon hadn't died, he'd been erased and rebuilt, somewhere. He was still serving, only now he didn't remember why or who he was.